People assume Lauren Sanchez simply got lucky landing Jeff Bezos, but her journey tells another story, shifting from journalist to helicopter pilot to finally walking down the aisle with the world's richest man was far from chance. Long before the headlines of yachts and Venetian weddings, she was building something deeper: stability, the one thing billionaires can't easily buy. Beauty may have opened the door, but it was trust, loyalty, and her ability to manage family dynamics that gave her true value. With 3 kids from different fathers, she shaped each choice and decision into a deliberate long-term plan, not through manipulation, but through sharp insight into human nature. And when she appeared in Venice, radiant in her 50s, flanked by her sons, it wasn't just a wedding scene. It was the visible triumph of a carefully executed life strategy.
The headlines may have focused on Bezos and his glamorous bride, but few noticed the children walking beside Lauren, each carrying a story she'd been shaping for over 20 years. It began in 2001 when, at 31, she had her first son, Nico, with NFL star Tony Gonzalez. At the time, Lauren was a rising TV journalist and Tony a multi-million-dollar Kansas City Chiefs player, seemingly a power couple made for magazine covers. Yet within a year, it ended quietly, without scandal. Instead of letting it become a downfall, Lauren turned it into a lesson in co-parenting. For 5 years, she worked patiently to build a new kind of family dynamic, and today, Nico proudly calls himself the luckiest boy alive. Her close bond with Tony and his wife Toby grew so strong that they now share vacations, holidays, even Thanksgiving dinners. At her wedding to Bezos, that unity was on display, but behind the smiles were years of compromise, emotional intelligence, and strategy. None of it happened by chance. It was deliberate, calculated, and ultimately successful.
Lauren grasped a simple truth about modern relationships. When life plays out under social media's microscope, peace with ex-partners becomes a powerful form of social capital. She nurtured that peace with the same care others give to investments. Tony Gonzalez once praised how she never turned Nico into a weapon or spoke badly of him, always highlighting his role as a father. That emotional intelligence transformed Tony into an ally, not a rival. By 2024, Nico was 23, striding the Dolce & Gabbana runway in Milan as Bezos and Lauren cheered from the front row. With a political science degree and a mother tied to one of the most powerful men alive, Nico's world now spanned fashion, modeling, and even space technology. His subtle "congrats to the Blue Origin team" post marking him as part of Bezos' orbit. Yet, while Nico embodied the polished success of Lauren's co-parenting strategy, her second child, Evan, would tell a different kind of story.
Evan, born in June 2006 during Lauren's marriage to Hollywood power agent Patrick Whitesell, grew up surrounded by Oscar nominees, luxury resorts, and the glitter of Hollywood privilege. But in 2019, at just 13, his world shifted when tabloids exposed his mother's affair with Jeff Bezos, broadcasting private texts across national TV. Instead of letting scandal define him, Lauren acted with precision, vanishing Evan from the spotlight, hiding his face in photos, and shielding him from public curiosity. When her marriage ended, the divorce was handled swiftly and quietly under the protection of prenups signed years earlier. No messy court battles, no headlines, no drama. It was all executed with strategy and foresight, proof of Lauren's determination to protect her son's innocence and keep him out of a war he never chose.
What stood out most about Lauren's divorce from Patrick Whitesell was how flawlessly she controlled the narrative. In a digital age where leaked stories and messy headlines define most breakups, she ensured total silence. No press leaks, no insider drama, not even a bitter word from Patrick, proof of the strong ties she maintained even at the end. Today, Evan is 18 and studying business at the University of Miami, a $60,000 a year path cushioned by privilege, but defined more by passion than money. Like his mother, he turned to aviation, training as a helicopter pilot. Lauren's post of his first solo flight framed it as trust between mother and son, yet for keen observers, it symbolized more. Evan had chosen the very skyward path that once linked her mother to Jeff Bezos. For Lauren, aviation was never just a hobby. It was a door into a world few could enter.
Lauren's pilot's license once gave her entry into elite circles, where skill mattered as much as beauty, signaling independence and control. And now, Evan is following that same path, only with higher stakes. His flight training aligns with a future where aviation and space technology merge. And with Blue Origin constantly seeking pilots and specialists, the overlap seems anything but accidental. Then comes Ella, born in 2008, the most enigmatic of Lauren's children. At 17, she's both private and bold, refusing the traditional maid of honor gown at her mother's Venice wedding and choosing a Dolce & Gabbana suit instead, a quiet declaration of individuality. Unlike most celebrity kids chasing the spotlight, Ella avoids cameras, rarely appears online, and keeps her identity shielded. Even her mother shares little beyond the occasional caption or throwback photo. This silence, far from simple teenage rebellion, reflects a calculated strategy. Her rare appearances carry weight, making her presence more powerful than constant visibility. In today's world of endless exposure, scarcity itself is power, and Ella embraced it, choosing invisibility as protection after watching her brothers face public scrutiny. What makes Lauren remarkable isn't just each child's story, but how she united them into a blended family that even included Jeff's 4 kids, Tony Gonzalez, and Patrick Whitesell, without conflict. At her wedding, Nico and Evan walked her down the aisle, while Ella stood as maid of honor, a symbol of harmony carefully built. What others might have called baggage, 3 kids from 3 fathers, became proof of her value to Bezos, who prized stability, loyalty, and discretion as much as beauty. Nico now moves easily between fashion, football, and space. Evan pursues business and aviation under her protection. Ella thrives in privacy and quiet strength. None of this happened by chance. These outcomes reflected not just maternal instinct, but deliberate strategy.
When Jeff Bezos chose Lauren, he saw not complications, but capability. A woman able to juggle exes, children, and public scrutiny while keeping harmony. That balance came with sacrifice and diplomacy, visible in her children's lives. Nico at Colorado Boulder, Evan at Miami, Ella in a top LA school, plus modeling, flight training, and art. Opportunities far beyond her own income, but opened by Bezos' orbit. Yet Lauren never let it seem Jeff replaced the fathers. She framed it as shared parenting, ensuring Tony Gonzalez and Patrick Whitesell stayed involved. Even with Bezos' billions, Tony still supported Nico and Patrick contributed to Evan. Gestures Lauren carefully preserved by presenting every expense or gift as complement, not replacement. Her strategy turned potential rivalry into cooperation, making Bezos' wealth a unifying tool instead of a wedge. But no plan could fully protect the children. In 2019, when the National Enquirer exposed Bezos and Lauren, Nico, Evan, and Ella were thrust into the spotlight, unwilling side characters in a global scandal.
The scandal left Lauren's children carrying a burden beyond their years. Nico turned it into ambition, carving his own path while still linked to Bezos. Evan faced cruel jokes at just 13, shielded by his mother's quick retreat from the spotlight. And Ella, youngest of all, was taught that silence itself is strength. Each grew up learning the cost of fame before the value of money.
Now the real story begins, not in the wedding or the headlines, but in how these children shape their own identities. Nico seeks freedom from the billionaire shadow, Evan aims to rise beyond scandal, and Ella rejects the fame game entirely. Strategy may hide them, but emotions remain untamed. The dynasty's suspense lies in their choices, because wealth can buy opportunity, but never authenticity or peace of heart.